Hello there, I'm Solicitor Trevor Cooper, and I'd like to welcome you to this presentation brought to you by Doglaw TV. The aim of this YouTube channel will be to bring you the latest developments in dog law that may impact on dog owners and professionals involved with dogs. But occasionally I may also branch out to give you some other information about the dog world generally. So coming up in today's show, we'll be looking at dog theft, sentencing for cruelty, licensing for dog walkers, and we'll also be giving a shout out to our friends at Oak Tree Animals Charity in Carlisle and tell you how you can get involved and help with the amazing work that they're doing. If you want to stay in touch, then please press like, please subscribe to this channel and get your friends and colleagues to like and subscribe as well. It makes it sound a bit like there's a charge when you use a word like subscribe, but it is of course completely free. You may also want to click the bell so that you get notified when we post something new. You're also very welcome to post comments below. Now, for those of you who haven't come across me before, I am known for being a smidgen naughty, so don't expect me to do a whole broadcast without occasionally sniggering. The subject matter is pretty dry, and I've found that the best way to keep things lively is by occasionally seeing the lighter side of things. And from what I've seen on the web, these YouTube channels are mainly presented by young and trendy youths who seem to be what I can only describe as perky. Well, you're not going to get any of that nonsense from me. I haven't been perky for many years, if indeed I ever was perky. Anyway, the law that we'll be discussing is only as it relates to England and Wales, and it's correct as at the date of filming, which is the 22nd of October 2020. So let's plunge in with this week's main news item, and this is on dog theft. BBC News has reported that this has been the worst ever year for dog thefts, and they suggest that the demand for dogs during lockdown has led to what they describe as a significant increase in pets being stolen. An earlier Dogs Trust report published on the 12th of August found that the asking price for many of the UK's most popular breeds had shot up in the first few months of lockdown. So the lockdown surge in demand for dogs, which has partially led to this increase in prices, has in turn led to them appearing even more desirable as a target for thieves. So it's basically become the perfect storm. But what does the law say about sentencing available for someone who's convicted of stealing a pet? Well, there isn't a specific offence of pet theft, so it comes under the general law that we have of theft of any item of property, and that's in the Theft Act from 1968. And there is a maximum sentence available under this Act of 7 years imprisonment. But the courts are required to follow sentencing guidelines for theft. They were last amended in February 2016, and although the courts are now required to take into account the emotional distress caused to the victim under these guidelines, what has greater impact on the sentencing range is the open market value of the dog and the degree of culpability of the offender. So this means that for the opportunistic theft of a mongrel, this is going to lead to a starting point of a fine. And even if it was a dog with an open market value of up to £10,000, the starting point for an unplanned theft of such a dog is likely to only be a community order, albeit under the guidelines it can come within a range in that kind of case of up to 36 weeks imprisonment. But it's incredibly rare that anyone gets prison for dog theft. So does this act as a sufficient deterrent? Campaigners have done e-petitions to try to get pet theft reformed, and because the most recent e-petition amassed over 100,000 signatures, it qualified for a parliamentary debate. This was held in the Westminster Hall on Monday the 19th of October, and at the conclusion of this debate, the government spokesperson said that they didn't think that the creation of a specific offence of pet theft would help much at the moment. But they did say that the government was willing to work with the police and animal welfare organisations on possible changes to the sentencing guidelines. So it isn't yet known when the Sentencing Council will start work on this, but I'll update you when I've got more news. But it seems to me that if we're looking to raise sentences for dog theft, that the Sentencing Council is perfectly placed to update their guidelines, and actually this is something that they can do without too much difficulty. So let's have a look at rescues. So today's rescue that we're going to spotlight on is Oak Tree Animals Charity, and they're based at Wetherall Shields in Carlisle. They started off in 1909, principally to improve the plight of 72,000 pit ponies from Britain's coal mines. But over the years, they've developed a much wider remit from their 72-acre site, where they promote animal welfare and responsible pet ownership. They provide rehoming services for cats, dogs and horses, as well as proactive community support, advice and education. Oak Tree are open every day between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m, and directions can be found on their website, which is www.oaktreeanimals.org.uk. They've got space for up to 30 dogs at any one time, and they've got a training team who not only provide support for their dogs, but also they run classes and one-to-one sessions to help tackle behavioural and training issues. If you'd like to offer your help as a volunteer, they advertise all available roles on their website. So if you've got some spare time, please get in touch with them. The pandemic has of course had a significant impact on Oak Tree, as well as most other rescues. So please support them financially if you can. But it's not just about money. They always need bedding and towels, especially as winter is fast approaching. And their two charity shops will be looking for donations from November for any unwanted resellable items that you may have. They've also just launched a brand new sponsorship challenge dog walk. So if that appeals to you, then please visit their events pages on the website. But can I give a particular shout out to see if between us we can find a new forever home for Evie, who's an 18-month-old Labrador cross. The background to her is that her owner bought Evie as a puppy, but her increasing ill health, as in the owner's increasing ill health, left her unable to care for Evie, and it culminated in the owner having to go into hospital and Evie was being left alone at home. Evie had a tendency to guard her owner, possibly because the two of them had lived in a bubble for such a long time. So Evie has been stressed since coming into kennels, and she's taken time to get to trust the staff. But she is now starting to blossom and gain confidence. And Oak Tree are confident that Evie will become a loving companion in the right household. So could that new home be with you? Evie's described as a big and bouncy goofball who loves to play, and she needs a quiet adult household home with experienced owners who have a large garden. So if this could be you, then please get in touch with Oak Tree. You'll need to be prepared to visit Evie several times for that trust to be built up. And I'll report back with an update on Evie in a later programme. So in other news, the continuing saga of increasing our maximum sentences for cruelty offences is trundling along at what seems like a snail's pace. Now, to recap for those of you who may not know, in England and Wales, our maximum prison sentence for animal cruelty, so causing unnecessary suffering, as well as for dog fighting, is only 6 months, which is one of the lowest maximum penalties in the world for this kind of offence. A campaign which has been led by Battersea since February 2017 has been to get this maximum prison sentence upped from 6 months to 5 years. And this campaign has had support from across the political divide, and as far as the public is concerned, this is something that they definitely want to see. In fact, many people that I speak to would like the penalty to be actually far higher than 5 years in prison for such a crime. But due to a combination of the general election and the impact of the pandemic, it does seem to have slowed the progress of this bill. The latest position is that there is a bill going through the parliamentary process, and that's been laid by Chris Loder MP. The second reading is scheduled to take place in the House of Commons on Friday the 23rd of October. So please make sure that you contact your local MP's office and ask them to support the Chris Loder bill, Loder L-O-D-E-R. It's still got quite a long way to go for it to become law, even once it's passed its second reading, as it's going to have to continue through the process through both Houses of Parliament before it eventually can be given royal assent. But hopefully this will become law sometime next year. Once in force, then offences of animal cruelty and for dog fighting will become either way offences, so it opens the path to a trial at the Crown Court before a judge and a jury. And the maximum prison sentence will be 5 years per offence. Again, I'll keep you updated with progress on this bill in future programmes. I also want to talk about the growing profession of those who walk other people's dogs as part of a business, so dog walkers. At present, this is an unregulated activity in England and Wales. But in Saturday's Times, the RSPCA has called for commercial dog walkers to be included in animal welfare regulations so that they'd need to get a licence and comply with conditions. And this includes a suggestion by the RSPCA that there be a limit of 4 dogs per walker. And this call has been backed by the City of London Corporation. We'll have to see whether the government decides that this is an issue that should be licensed, and if so, I anticipate that there will be a consultation before the law goes through Parliament. But if and when there is more information on this, I'll let you know. But in the meantime, if you are a professional dog walker, I suggest that you have a look at the RSPCA's Code of Practice, as that may well form the starting point for future regulation. So if you like the Code of Practice and you comply with it, then perhaps you should be saying so in your advertising material. Whereas if you think the RSPCA may need to tweak it, then now is the time to speak to them and try to effect change. And finally, a couple of things to make this really topical. Firstly, a reminder that the clocks go back this weekend at 2 a.m. on Sunday the 25th of October, so we do get an extra hour in bed, hooray. And secondly, we're coming up to 5th of November, so we're all likely to hear an increasing number of whizzes and bangs from fireworks in the coming days ahead. Now, I am aware that some dogs can be very badly affected by fireworks, and there was an e-petition last year which got to over 300,000 signatures, and that was calling for the sale of fireworks to the public to be banned. But that hasn't happened, and there is no legislation in the wings that I'm aware of. Well, that's about all for today's broadcast. I anticipate that we'll upload the next episode in the next week or so. So if you've got any topics that you want me to cover, or perhaps you're a rescue that wants a shout out from me, or perhaps particularly if there's a dog that you need help with rehoming, then do please get in touch. Keep safe and well, and I look forward to chatting with you next time. In the meantime, feel free to comment below, but no swearing, please. Please like us, please subscribe to this channel, and please press the notification bell. I'm now going to go and practice being perky for the next episode. Thank you.